It's been a strange time, here in Britain. Aside from reports coming in, news from another town that I've never been to. Britannia, I think it was called. Something horrible happened there. People think that it might be over, but I don't know. I've got this chill I just can't shake. More closer to home. A green-skinned creature. It didn't sound like Cog by the description floating around town. Visited the farmer that used to employ me. I'm told very harsh words were traded. Mostly from the green-skinned creature, the farmer quaking in his boots. Meanwhile, my job of hunting rats is still pretty much the same. Though I wonder where they all come from. It doesn't seem to matter how many I kill, how many I hunt down. There's always more. I've spent too much time in the tavern. Or maybe the right amount. Giles, the waiter, and the rest of the staff seem to know me by name now. They'll ask for my usual when I step through the door and sit at my favorite stool. It's almost always the same, assuming I haven't already brought something with me. Too often I find myself here, drinking troubles away. It's been a little while, and the townsfolk still look down on me. They whisper dishonorable while my back is turned. I can't imagine what it is that I've done exactly, aside from fall on hard times. And I've been working to try and keep the city clear of rats for some time. But I suppose it's thankless work. But someone's got to do it. So again, I wandered the city, looking for rats and collecting on the meager bounty of a bit of food and drink for each one turned in. After a while, I turned to the forest to do what I normally do. I've learned a new spell, teleport. Sometimes it works not as planned, but more often than not, it'll help me escape a sticky situation if I find myself cornered in the woods. In my wanderings looking for herbs, I found something new. A mountain ranged far to the north. Truth be told, I already saw the mountains there, but there was a cave. A strange thing. Some of the small, evil-looking monkey bats were hanging out outside. I wanted to investigate further, but a troll had tracked me down and hammered away at my body. I had to flee. Before I knew it, I found myself heavily outnumbered and running for my life. But magic isn't the only thing I've gotten better at. I have far more stamina and I can run longer than I used to. If I can't outrun them, I have tricks up my sleeve. I've gotten very good at camouflaging myself amongst the foliage. They can't even see me. Having stuck myself back to the cave, I decided to take a look around. There was a forge and an anvil set up just outside. I had to assume perhaps miners used to come here looking for ore, precious minerals, gems. I figured there might be something left behind. Several of these mong bats, the locals called them later. I found nothing other than meat and leather on their bodies. I stockpiled that along with the meat that I have taken from the rats. I'll speak more on that in a later moment. With the cave cleared, I took what spoils I could from the slain and began looking around, but I found nothing. I left, somewhat exhausted, and returned to town. Walking through the streets, I noticed something. A foul odor. Far stronger than the odor that's carried by the rats that I find scurrying about town. There was a sewer. Said enter at your own peril. I get the feeling this might be where the rodents come from. I began thinking maybe if I were to go into the sewers and take out the infestation at its source, I could take care of the rats once and for all. Since the rats themselves don't offer any coin per their bounty, I have taken to collecting the meat and selling it at the local butcher shop. Best meat pies in Britain, they tell me. Who am I to argue? Let the people think what they wish. I'm glad they enjoy the meat. With a mind to head into the sewers, I thought it best to go into the alchemist shop, procure a few things. Cure potions for any poisons I might become infected with. Heal potions to cure any wounds I might take. And I noticed the black potions in the counter as well. After asking what they did, they told me that it allows me to see in dark places. I imagine the sewer being very dark inside, and so I bought a few of those as well. Standing at the sewer, I took note of the horrible stench, but the potential of profit led me inside. If I am going to hire a warrior and leave this town, I'll need plenty of gold to do it. After getting to the bottom of the ladder, I found it was very dark and drank a potion. Mystified, I blinked my eyes and found I could see. Not perfectly, not like daylight, but the darkness no longer held my vision shut. Which is glad because I could hear the slithering, the crawling of the things deep inside. I got lost quite a bit in that maze, but it wasn't so bad. On a catwalk, I was able to get a higher vantage point and see a better way. I couldn't climb up the wall, too steep. But with the spell I've gotten rather comfortable with, I simply blinked my way up. Getting deep into the sewer, it smelled foul, and rats started coming at me. Able to get up the steps so low to the water's line. I was quite comfortable with it at first, but mystified when I found one with a bit of clothing. Where did he find it? Did it get flushed? Someone throw it down here. I thought maybe to wear it later. I rather like the style, but I decided to do that after a thorough wash. Going deeper into the sewer, I was rather astonished by how big some of these rodents could get. One of them was nearly half of my size, and put up quite the fight. After fighting for what felt like perhaps an hour or more, and choking down vomit several times, the stench of it, the area, choking me, I finally beat down that large rat. How many more must be down here, I wonder? I couldn't say. With little else to do, I decided to go into the water myself. Sinking nearly up to my knees in the sludge. I began looking under bridges. I found several, and even a few of them. Some of them, however, came up behind me, rather sneakily. I don't know what they were trying to do exactly. Bite my neck out? It might explain some of the weapons and the clothing I found down here. Perhaps these rodents had developed a taste for flesh, the flesh of men. I couldn't help but to feel more on guard as I explored. Leaving after collecting quite the bounty, I decided to go at the original poster of the bounty I took. He never asked me if I killed all of them, and I never admitted that I didn't. Only that I killed quite a few of the rodents down in that place, and earned a chest of gold as a reward. I cracked it open, and was astonished by what I had seen. So many coins for such a simple thing. This would be enough to buy my freedom from this town. More than enough, in fact. Feeling rather well with myself, I decided to go out into the woods and look for a familiar face. We've been training together for the past week, and while I still have yet to beat him, Cog was sharpening my skills, I had to admit. I smiled and waved, and then I armed myself for our favorite pastime. As we traded blows, we traded barbs as well. And I told him, rather arrogantly, I had to admit, though I was enjoying the fight, today would be the day that I win. I landed a strong blow, and Cog cried out in pain. After maybe an hour, he limped away, rubbing his head. Perhaps I hit him a bit too hard, but he just smiled and walked off, thinking about our last fight. I grinned. I waved goodbye, and I too walked off in my direction, happy that for the first time in all of our fights, I came out on top. After my victory, I sat in the park for a little while, in East Town. I just watched the water fall from the fountain, thinking to myself, between my interests in tailoring, magic, music, I had to admit to myself I'd become quite the warrior in my stay here. Over the last month, 2, 3, I lost count, to be honest. And I had so much extra gold. Maybe I should invest in some better gear. I went to the blacksmith in East Britain, in Old Town, looking for new armor, looking for new weapons. The mace that I had suffered quite a lot of damage from constant use, so I thought I should get a replacement. I turned to the armorer. Heavy shields, and many helms of different styles. They all looked quite heavy and uncomfortable. I decided to pass. I had to admit that some of the smaller metal shields looked favorable. But I'd gotten quite comfortable with my wooden shield, and I wasn't ready to give it up quite yet. Frowning, I left, deciding to visit the blacksmith near Castle Britain proper. They had a much wider selection, I had to admit, but still things that I would be uninterested in. Plate mail, chain mail, mail of ring. The ring mail looked like maybe I could wear it comfortably enough. But it seemed like overkill and, to be honest, was rather pricey. Again, my eyes glazed over the bronze shield, thinking maybe I could wear it comfortably enough to use it well. but I decided against it. Wondering where else I could go, my mind flickered back to where I got the leather jerkin to begin with, and I returned to the tanner, thinking perhaps they had some more armors for sale that I never bothered to see before. I purchased a tunic of hard-boiled leather fitted with metal studs, and completed the rest of my outfit with leather sleeves, a leather neck brace, leather pants. It wasn't very heavy, and at the same time wasn't exceptionally light. It felt right. I was rather pleased with myself, there standing in a full suit of armor. I decided to try the straw hat that I had retrieved from a large rodent in the sewers. I had already washed it. I rather liked it, to be honest. It was a nice hat. The day nearly done, or at the very least myself very exhausted, I walked back into the Blue Boar for a small celebratory drink. I nodded to Giles and asked for my usual. I poured myself an ale, but my eyes flickered over to a book on the table. With letters and numbers I didn't understand the relevance of. Coordinates? A code? I couldn't say, but it intrigued me. I whispered to myself, wondering who the man was that had written that book and just left it so casually. I decided to do what I normally do at the end of the day. I reached into my pack and found my journal, ready with pen to write out what the day had brought me. But then I reached back in. There was a third book. I only ever had two. I pulled it out and opened it, wondering where it had come from. It described my interaction at the Blue Boar several days ago when I was confused. Signed, The Watcher. And there was nothing else of interest inside, just empty pages. I stood up, my eyes shifting around. I'm being watched.